So you want a crypto? I'm Joe. I'm your host. Today we're gonna go. It's kind of two videos in one, but there's a little educational stuff in here. We're gonna talk about the Wyckoff method, who was Wyckoff, a little bit of stuff on the background theory, just so you can get a well-rounded picture of what we've seen, what we could potentially see. Do we see a bear market coming? Do we see a bull market coming? I don't have a price prediction anywhere in there, so I'm going to tell you that. But I do have a prediction on where I think the market's going to go and how I think it's going to play out, so stick around for that. And then on the back side of this video that I added in was there was the OVR, over the reality, which is an augmented reality real estate kind of thing. Check it out. We'll talk about it. But they had their 1 million token burn last night. They had a little party. They had like a DJ virtual space thing with some art. I just stopped by for a second, took some pictures, and I'll show you that. It was pretty neat. I like the art. It was cool. And I think OVR is a neat project. And then also, I don't know if you know, they sold the Eiffel Tower in there, and they did an auction of, I think it was 60 properties all at once in one big parcel. But I found a few others they might be next, like St. Mark's and some other stuff in Venice, and who knows, let me know. But let's get to it. It's a little bit of a longer video, and I always put the timestamps below to help you navigate. Cheers, like, subscribe. Let's get to work. What's up, everybody? This is Joe. So you want a crypto? Haven't been around for a couple days, but here I am, back in the saddle, ready to get it. Let's talk about the market. So, $1.6 trillion, down a little bit. Considerably down on the 24-hour trading volume at $114 billion. That's low. We want to see 200 or better, right? The 200 is not bad. Bitcoin dominance, 42.6%. Ethereum dominance, 18.7%. We'd like to see that BTC drop back down, help the altcoins get up just a little bit. Bitcoin price right now, $36,900. Ethereum, $2,600 roughly. And we got a couple others in here, but we're seeing just kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We got a little bit of up with Ethereum, XRP at 12. Polkadot, almost 6%. Chainlink at 7%. Solana looking strong, 13.4. VeChain is also doing pretty well. And Polkadot. I think that Polkadot's one that people talk about a lot. They make videos and stuff. You see it here and there. But when you watch live or people get under the gun and they're asked, hey, what are you looking at? What do you think is going to go well? They usually talk about, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. Cardano is always on the top of people's list, but usually there's not a lot of Polkadot in that, like, under the gun stuff. So Kusama as well. I think they're both underrated, undervalued projects, but that's my opinion, not financial advice, not what I do. Bitcoin. We saw that everyone is sort of talking about this Wyckoff distribution chart. What is Wyckoff? What's the chart? How does all that work? We're going to get into that one second, but first, let's talk, man. $689 billion market cap, $36 billion in the last 24 trading. Not the best, right? Those aren't the best numbers. Of course, there's 21 million of these bad boys out and about. Last week, we're looking about 6% up, but we're still about 36% down on the last month. Here's that kind of almost famous or infamous Wyckoff distribution. So let's talk real quick numbers. What do we want to get back to? Well, people are talking a 6-figure Bitcoin. That's $125,000 roughly. Let's just say that. For our low 6-figure Bitcoin, that's 2.5 capital T's, trillion dollars. Well, 50,000, which we saw not too long ago, that was $1 trillion roughly. And these are not like on the ball numbers. They're just kind of rough estimates. So if you want to know what it's going to take to get your favorite to all-time highs, this is how much money just in them in market cap that they will need. 500,000, that's 10 trillion. Okay. Ethereum, same thing. We want a $7,000 Ethereum or $10,000 Ethereum in this cycle. You're looking at just shy of $1 trillion. $7,000 Ethereum is, I think I figured out one day at roughly about 800 billion. If my numbers are wrong, let me know. And this is kind of, you got billions. There's 10 100 millions in a billion. There's 100 millions in 10 billion. There's 1,000 100 millions in 100 billion. And there's 10,000 100 millions in a trillion. Well, why is this important? So you're trying to find altcoins that are going to go, you know, from maybe tens of millions to hundreds of millions, right? That's a 10x. That's not a bad gain. Well, for the complete value of Bitcoin, when it reaches $50,000, you could have 10,000 $100 million small cap projects. So there's a lot of room once we start seeing those trillions to flow in, and that's why people are really excited about altcoins, why they have so much potential and everything else. So just a little bit of numbers to run it. Let's see, where's my... Here you go. I like this one. That's my old man car. When I get to that. I'm not there yet, though. I hope. The psychology of a market. Most of us have seen this cycle right here. Where we, you know, this, they kind of, you go from here and kind of wraps around, then you start over, right? That's why it's a cycle. But we've seen a lot of this, you know, the thrill, but have we really seen the euphoria? I would kind of maybe venture no. Have we seen some complacency and stuff like that? Yeah, a little bit. So are we seeing kind of conflicting stories from just about every angle? Yeah. So we got anxiety, denial, panic, capitulation. We've heard that word a little bit recently. Anger, disbelief, was that depression? There's probably desperation in there too somewhere, right? Where's high leverage? This is another kind of similar thing. We take out first sell, media attention, enthusiasm, greed, delusion. I wish I had the sources for these, man. I got a file full of this stuff. Denial, return to normal. So this is that suckers rally that people talk about, and then fear, capitulation, then despair, hopelessness, and everything. Then we start over. Yeah, ride's over. Get off. Next. Or you want to go again. Distribution, markdown, accumulation, and markup. So we've seen a lot of this, and now we've seen this archish shape, right? This is that Wyckoff distribution that we're talking about. And then the markdown phase is the end of this, where we're kind of in this, right? We kind of went through this. So now are we going to see more of a markdown before we accumulate? But no matter what, and I know everybody wants, hey, it's either going to rock bottom or sky to the moon, you're all going to be rich tomorrow, man. Go pick out the color of your Lambo. Man, and if you're buying a Lambo, why? Man, go get you something like a grown-up looking car. If you want 700 horsepower, look at like an AMG GTR Black. Those are pretty gangster, man. That's what I like. All right, anyway, moving on. We've seen these shapes before. Here's 2015, 2016, 2017. That's an older chart, but you get the idea. And what is it? What are we talking about? So the Wyckoff distribution, events, and phases. And I'm not going to explain what all these little different things are right here. I have a link where I got these from that I'm going to show you here in just a second, that you can go through, read on your own time, and check it all out. But basically, this is a very similar shape. And so, I mean, we all kind of realize that we're basically like right about here. Hopefully we're not on this hump and still heading down. You know, maybe we're here, or, you know, even bottomed out and going up. It's really hard to say, and I'm going to tell you right now, nobody knows. So when we get to the bottom, what do we expect? Well, we expect to go like so. Okay, I know everybody wants to rush back to the moon, but I don't think it's going to happen. So let's see, it's been a few days since I made a video, and I think about a week now since I made my duck prediction. But basically, the long story short of that was 2 weeks before we seeing any kind of growth. And that's about what we want. Now, whether it's 2 weeks before we get to this side, or 2 weeks before we get to this, and then some more, you know, another week of this nonsense before we grow, who knows? And who knows, man, we might crash to the bottom, but it's kind of my prediction. But right now, and it changes by the second. I could post this video, and who knows, somebody could tweet, something could happen. It just, you never know. But right now, one thing I'm pretty solid, I'm going to give it like an 85% on this, is we're going into some sort of a consolidation period, right? Consolidation time. And now here's a couple of different forms, right? These are the Wyckoff events, phase 1, schematic 1. We've kind of seen some of this right here, which is where we are right here, and I think that's about where we are. So this is what I'm talking about. We're either going to see one, this is a little bit more of an extreme version, and this is the less volatile version. So this is what we want to see of the two. This is what I would say. And if we see this, we're going to talk manipulation again, and we're going to say that we've completed a full Wyckoff cycle, and it's been completely manipulated. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, and maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But if it does, this is what you can be predicting. Okay. Here is our total cryptocurrency market capitalization. Just dropped off dramatically right there. So, and it's pretty similar to this for the capitalization side. So maybe we are going into a bear market, and we're going to start seeing some of this. It's very possible. However, we saw the way that we saw the total market cap dominance and the way the altcoins pumped and the different cycles and stuff like that. I don't think that that's the case. I still think we're going to see some nonsense over the next week or so, but I was thinking April was going to be good. I thought May was going to be good. And I hate to ride this all the way to the bottom going bullish, bullish, bullish. Shit, I was wrong. But if I am, I tried. I don't know what you'd say. But I'm still bullish. I really am. I'm looking, and a lot of the stuff that I have is smaller projects that I feel have utility. They're up and coming. They're getting in developing markets, so they're going to have a strong market capitalization, even in a bearish style market. So I'm looking to diversify my portfolio to kind of hedge, maybe if these go down or up, but how much can you do, right? Everybody's got their own plan. One thing I'm not doing is selling. So I'm riding it out, man. Surf's up. Wyckoff, why is this important? Who is this cat and what's the deal? I'm going to throw a little schooling at you, righty. And not that I'm an expert, but this is just what I found. Hopefully this kind of help you get on the page real quick. So this dude's name is Richard DeMille Wyckoff from the 1870s, early 1930s. He's one of the 5 titans of technical analysis, along with Dow. You might have heard of that. Gann, Elliott, Merrill. Some of those you guys might have heard of. Mr. Wyckoff observed numerous retail investors just being repeatedly ripped off, right? So he dedicated himself to instructing the public about the real rules of the game as played by the large investors or smart money. In the 1930s, he founded a school which later became the Stock Market Institute. The 5 steps to the Wyckoff method: determine the present position and probable future trend of the market. Select stocks in harmony with that trend. Remember, the trend is your friend. Zoom out, look at it, right? Select stocks with a cause that equals or exceeds your minimum objectives. Where do you think it's going to go? What do you think it provides? Who do you think is going to adopt this? Ask yourself some of these questions. Because in these times like this where they're down, this is when we really need to seriously reevaluate your plan or objectives and find reasonable objectives that are obtainable. And maybe our plan has changed. This whole crypto market changes really fast. Determine the stock's readiness to move, and then time your commitment with a turn in the stock market index. So here's the price cycle. Market can be understood and anticipated through detailed analysis of the supply and demand. It's ascertained from studying the price action, the volume, and time. That's what those charts are, right? They're just over time. This is the action, volume, time, price action, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So we have the law. What are these 3 right here? The 3 Wyckoff laws. So the law of supply and demand determines the price of direction, the law of cause and effect, and the law of effort. You can read into these. This link is below, of course, if you get value. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm trying not to really bore you too much, but I think it's important to have a little bit of a fundamental perspective at a theory level almost, right? So Wyckoff method is to improve market timing when establishing a position in anticipation of a coming move. That means staying ahead of the curve, right? And you want to get there when you want to hit it when it's a favorable risk reward ratio for your plan or the scenario that you're setting forth. And here's where we got those pictures before. So we could either have, if we're doing the rest of a Wyckoff distribution, you're either going to have a little bit more of a dramatic one, which the way things are going is probably more likely. I don't know. But I'm rooting for this one right here. Schematic 2, I'm looking at, relatively decent. And then once we grow, I'm looking at pretty hard push and a pretty hard fall. Here is what we've seen, the first cycle, the first 180 degrees of our sine wave, or whatever you want to look at, right? couple of different formats. Here you see kind of some stuff in action. We're not going to dig too deep, but you can have, here's some different strong, weak points, how to predict. There's a lot of good info. It's a pretty, detailed article. Here's where I got the rest of these. So I guess I did save it. All right, so that's what I got. I don't really have a price prediction other than I'd like to see 37.5 to 42 held and, maybe bounce 35, 38, 39, 40, 42, and then like a hard push through, come back, test it good, bounce back hard. Then I think that right there is a pretty decent confirmation maybe that we're going in an upward direction. And if we can get above where we were at, I guess we'll just go right here. If we can push this a little bit and get back, if we can get back above and start testing new all-time highs, then yeah, great. But if we're, be skeptical as we start getting to these peaks, look for taking profit, just in case you're on your, way back down. There's going to be another push or two at least on the way back down. So if you've lost a little bit, maybe try and have a smart strategy to recoup some of that, or at least get you back to even, or, maybe hopefully make a little bit on the way up. But there's still going to be a couple opportunities, but they're going to be a lot smaller. They're going to be quick. So, research and be ready for it. All right, some upcoming stuff. Well, not upcoming. I guess it just happened. It happened yesterday. OVR. I haven't talked about OVR, man. I love OVR. I own a bunch of OVR lands, so this isn't sponsored, but I am an investor. And again, not financial advice. But here's their OVR.ai. They got a marketplace virtual tour. There's a whole bunch of really cool stuff in here. OVR is an augmented platform. It's an ERC 721 on the Ethereum blockchain. But you can soft stake. So when you buy stuff, you don't have to pay the Ethereum fees unless you want to put it on like OpenSea and sell it on like a third party or something. You can, there's a little bit of OVR fee for transactions and everything. But it's, don't let the Ethereum scare you, right? Don't be scared on that one. You can stake this, and here you get 5% if you just leave it open, no lockup. 3-month lockup, 10%, that doubles, and then 6-month lockup, 15%. This is all through the OVR .ai site, right? And this is also where you go find the marketplace, some news and stuff like that. They just had a burning party last night where they burnt 1 million OVR tokens, and there was a DJ and a lot of art and stuff like that. Oops, hang on. And they have a treasure hunt. So first I'm going to show you the treasure hunt. And this is just one that I went on. And they talk about you can get about 6.67, I think, with 10 chests. So I figured I would just go around and just do like 4 or 5 and see what I got. My first one was right next to my house, actually. And I got 5 OVR tokens out of my gold chest. So I was pretty stoked on that. And then I was walking around, and just checking stuff out. And you can see the augmented lines. This is out by the caddy. And the little squares that you can augment in. They upgraded to the Treasure Hunt 2.0, which has a whole bunch of new features, like you can build your own personalized avatar. These are some of the ones that I was messing around with. I went with the hoodie, my scrubs, my evening wear. Actually, this is more like strong businesswoman. Then I got casual. I think this is the one that I actually went with. And then you got a little bit less. And actually, this one's not bad, but what's with the scarf? You're like hiding a neck tattoo. What's going on? Live events. They added some more to this, right? But you got they added it for that new event today and stuff. But there is quite a bit more stuff on here since this. But you have the Sistine Chapel, meeting rooms, and some neat little things here. This is all through the mobile app, and you just go in and join one of these. You can create your own private rooms. When you start out, they have a tutorial. And you'll just kind of take your mobile device, anything that has, the glasses, but nobody really has those. So you're basically using your mobile device, and you'll see like a couple of little dots on the ground, and it'll kind of turn yellow, and then you can hit, set your location. But they have a little tutorial on how to set all that up if you get it. So here's the treasure hunt thing, prizes and your probabilities, and the different things. So I hit that 2% with my 5, and it says every 10 chests you should average about 6.62. So that 5 put me real close. And I tell you right now, all the rest of my chests were 0.2. I don't think I had anything higher. You can also subscribe where you can open 10 for 10 treasures in 1 day for 8, or 10 treasures per day for 7 days, and you get it for 50 OVR. That's OVR tokens. And then here's how you go. You want to confirm, yes, here's a subscription for the 50 for the 8. They've also updated their SDK quite a bit, where you can basically drag and drop and put a bunch of stuff in and really start to make some cool stuff with their properties. There's been a few people already that have done their own little marketing projects or personal projects and stuff like that. So when you go on this treasure hunt, like here I went to a local park, and I found a chest out here, and this is your little map, and you can see the chest right here. So I kind of roll up on my chest, and here you go, 0.2. You open it and stuff like that. Here's, those were 2 different chests, but yeah, they both gave me 0.2. And here's that map. So each of these little hexagons, that's what you would buy. So here's a couple more chests. Like that's a chest, that's a chest, that's a chest. I'm pretty sure that is. And these are just ones that aren't, but you can buy each of these and do your own augmented experience in each of those. Here's what it looks like when you're trying to find a chest. So there's a chest close by. You see it right here. It tells me that it's 11.5 meters, relatively in this direction. And I found it was more like a wobbly compass. You kind of got to go slow, but that's maybe because my phone's a little slow with the GPS or something. I'm not sure. And then I found some that were sideways. You see right here, it's laying on its side. And I'm pretty sure, and look right here, see this purple halo? That's the boundary of the hexagon. You can see all those in the different pictures, and I'm pretty sure it's because I had reached my daily limit. And then I got a couple of these every now and then, but it's been a while since I did. And then when I would try and confirm, I'd get this weird stuff, so I'm not sure if my phone was having a problem signing in. Here's another 0.2 treasure chest, same one, just zoomed out a little bit, and you can see what it looks like. This is augmented. This is a screenshot. So, the chest isn't really there, right? We're all clear on that. And then this one wasn't tipped over, but I had still reached my daily limit. Marketplace and SDK, that's what we were talking about just a second ago. They've really done a good job of upgrading that. Oh, I forgot I did get a 0.5 at another park. This was a different location. So a couple 0.2s, a 0.5, and a 5. I mean, right there, that's what, 5 point, that's almost 6. Here's one that was in the middle of the street, so, look both ways. It's not, they're kind of in random places, and they can be awkward, like people's yards and stuff like that. So I'm not sure I got to be the grown-up and tell you to stay out of people's stuff, but stay out of people's stuff. Stay out of the road. Don't get hit by a car trying to open one of these chests. I don't think there's enough in there to pay for the process. Here's one on a gravel road, right? So, all right, moving on. This was the live event. I showed up a couple times real quick, took a couple snapshots and rolled out. So if you've seen my avatar there, that's what it, kind of a neat little picture there. I walked around a little bit. These are some of the art, or not avatar, but art. These are the art exhibits that were up. Some different angles. There was a couple people there. It wasn't really busy. I think there was only like 2 or 3 people here and there. Maybe a couple more. But it was fun, interesting. And then they had a DJ, which is like in a center up above here in the center. Some more of the art. And then they burned, here's the hash. 1 million OVR. So here's OVR's Twitter, and we're gonna just watch a quick little video in the background. But you can create all sorts of stuff, and they're really getting kind of neat on this video. They got the little robot dude and all sorts of stuff, and as far as I know, I think it's Sketchfab. You can just basically drag and drop stuff in. They've got a whole bunch stuff in their SDK. I haven't messed with it a whole bunch. I'm really kind of wish I had more time to do it, but I'm really gonna dig into it here real soon and start doing it. But look, this is what we're talking about here, and you can do this for funsies, and we're talking some pretty good marketing potential too, I think. And what really it just depends on the glasses. We need cool glasses that work. All your phones have this technology. You've had it for a long time, and it's really easy to go. out and check stuff out. But so here's that thing from last night, a little clip of the DJ and video of looking around and stuff. It's all the snapshots I sent you. It's basically just a big round room with some art spread out. Kind of Tron feeling, I guess, if I was to really describe it. A little bit, nerdy, but cool. I guess I don't know. I thought it was neat, but it's not like I was going to hang out for 3 hours in there. Here was some stuff talking about the barn, but here's, a cool little creation. Someone did like a dancing Elvis in the hallway. And you can see it needs a little bit of work on getting the positioning and stuff like that. I've had this problem trying to do some stuff too. But I'm not a programmer. I'm learning this as I go. Not an expert, But I like it. I think it's cool. It's fun, at least. Anyway, yeah, I'm real bullish on OVR. There was the green gallery, which I think is in the OVR live experience now. Here's one that some guy did. This is on Twitter. And it looks like that's the Winnipeg Jets. But they made an augmented reality billboard on their OVR land space. I think that's cool. I'm a hockey fan too. I dig that. You see how it looks like a real billboard, but that's not. It's just augmented, and so there's some marketing idea for you. Someone's doing it. Real world application right there. Here's the OVR LinkedIn. You can see it says they got about 26 employees. I think down here it says 11 to 50 in the company size range for LinkedIn. They're in Italy. And actually, so here's where they're at in Italy as far as LinkedIn's address. This is the building in the background. So we got, a little bit of Austria, Switzerland right there. And then, let's see, nope, right here, Google Earth. Look at those backgrounds look at those mountains in the background. That's a real pretty place. And I think it's right over here somewhere, but whatever. I just thought it was pretty when I was looking stuff up. So I check, a lot of times I'll use Google Earth, and this might be a tip for you, I don't know. When you're looking at these projects, go check out their LinkedIn, find an address, go to that address on Google Earth, and then zoom in on the buildings that they say they work from, and see if there's a sign that actually has their project on it, because that'll help kind of confirm things in a real world setting for you. That's helped me, decide or to either make or break a project. So OVR features. OVR is pretty cool. So there's a bunch of little hexes. They're 300 meters squared. You can sell them on a marketplace, secondary marketplace, set your own price, buy them. They start out about $10. I think they've got an adjustable price for higher demand areas. But here you go. It's all built on a smart contract with there's some soft minting on the side. Here's your positioning. Here's an old timeline. They're basically past all this in your team. Pretty good link. It'll kind of help give you a little bit more overview. Not trying to go too deep. And then, let's see, right? They talk about having to add basically like I don't remember where it was in here. I had it highlighted somewhere and I didn't. But you got to add a custom RPC to your MetaMask, and so I figured maybe, just real quick I'd touch on that as well. Here's a link on how to do it and how to, if you're interested, real quick. So, but let's take just one step back. And what is an API? An application programming interface. Allows two applications to talk to each other. That's it. So basically, and this article breaks it down actually really easy. It's not so techy that you can't understand things, but it's there to provide a layer of security, and it basically the communication between the smaller packets of data, sharing only which is necessary. Think of it like the way that it was described in here was a waiter. So when you're talking to the waiter, you're telling him what your order is, what you'd like to drink, and stuff like that. You're not telling him where you live. You're not telling him about your kids. I mean, that's all personal stuff you could tell him on your own, but it's not something that's required for his service. And, that's kind of what they're trying to highlight here with the security of the API. And then RPC, that's your remote procedure call, RPC. And it's the earliest, simplest form of an API interaction, which we just talked about. And it's about executing a block of code or another server on another server And when implemented in HTTP or anyway, it will be a web API. That's really all you need to know. An API is built by defining public methods. Then the methods are called with arguments. RPC is just a bunch of functions, but in the context of the Internet API, that entails putting the method in the URL and arguments in the query string and body. And you can read into this a little bit. Not an expert or anything like that. Just trying to help you. A lot of these, when I see API or RPC or REST or NFT, I always try to look them up. Even if I kind of know what they are, maybe I'll pick up a little bit more information. And the other one I saw when we were reading through stuff was REST. And it's all about client-server relationships where the server side of the data are made available through representation of data in simple formats. And this format is usually JSON or XML, but it could be anything. It doesn't have to be. And these representations portray data from various sources as simple resources or collections of resources, which are then potentially modifiable with actions and relationships being made discoverable via a concept known as hypermedia controls, HOAS. Hypermedia is fundamental to REST, and essentially it's just the concept of providing the next available actions. So this could be related to data, or for this example of an invoice, it could be, hey, here's the invoice, we'd like payment. So some of these sound really like crazy and overwhelming, and that's just a very brief, but at least you get an idea of what they're all kind of trying to put together. And of course, if you're a programmer, you're at a deeper level on all this stuff, then you're going to know much more about it. But at least I like to have a little bit of an idea of just what the hell is going on, because it just comes at you fast, right? Custom RPC, custom, it's like, what the hell are they talking about? OVR, $1. Basically, it's been sitting up and down of $1. It was at about $3 not too long ago in the peak area. They just burned 1 million. Didn't see much impact on the price. So that puts, from what I understand, the max supply around 95 million. And that's kind of where CoinGecko is. They got it at 110. Marketcap has it at 95. So I'm going to call it in the high 90s. I don't really know, actually, 100% for sure. And here's a little bit more, but you can see we're kind of at a downside now. But this is one of those where here was the hype, hey, new project, stuff like that. But here's the what the hell do we do with it phase. And we've seen that with a lot of projects. I mean, that's kind of a typical thing in crypto, right? Where it just jumps up at the beginning because everybody's like, dang, this is cool. And then they're like, yeah, but what are we going to do with it? Who's going to use it? We got the idea, but we really don't have the product or the adoption yet. We see this pullback, we see a kind of a long consolidation, and then eventually when we see it get to the adoption, that's when we see this jump parabolic curve. So I'm hoping I see that for OVR. I'm looking at it at multiple dimensions, from marketing to flipping different ones for profit to whatever I can. Here's the marketplace. Let's go buy Overland. And then here's the tab. It's a little bit kind of incognito right here, but the secondary marketplace. So these are people that have bought lands and they are reselling it on the open marketplace. So marketplace are ones that no one has bought. You can auction on, and it takes 24 hours. And it does take a long time to close. And something like this. So like maybe, like I don't have any OVR in this account, and I got 1.12. So let's say that land drops to where it's 1 OVR for a land. I could initiate an auction, but however, I won't have enough to complete the fees of the soft minting and getting the closing and stuff like that. So it'll just sit there and not close. So if you buy like 10 lands and the last one you did that where you didn't have enough for all the fees, the first 9 will close, the last one will just stay pending, and then eventually I think it gets released back in the market or something. I don't know. I've always just thrown more in to finish the process, and then it completed pretty quick. So keep that in mind. Really, that's what I got. There's a lot of cool lands. There's a lot of neat stuff. I did notice just one more little tiny thing on, because they did that big auction in France where they sold the Eiffel Tower, and I think it was about $100,000 for 60 plots around. Let's see, here's the Eiffel Tower, the river. So the Eiffel Tower's over here. So I'm guessing it's these 60 plots right here where you can't buy or Link or whatever. So I think maybe they've combined those together. Average price 38 Ethereum. I don't really know, but the point that I'm going to on this is that there's a few other places. Like I was looking in Venice, and St. Mark's was the same way. You couldn't buy St. Mark's. So I've here and there as I look at stuff, I'll find some that are kind of blocked off that you can't buy. Man, let's get back in there. What are we doing? Marketplace. I'll go show you St. Mark's real quick, and then we'll call it a day. Search St. Mark's. St. Mark's Square in Venice. And here's like where everybody hangs out and all that kind of stuff. Here's some that are listed on the secondary market. So if you go to the secondary market right here, I'll just show you the price. And this one is 3,600 OVR. That's what they're asking for the Venice Boardwalk. That's where all the little shops and a ton of people go through here in and out of St. Mark's. 3,200 for this one. But now, again, like the Eiffel Tower, there's a lot of different areas. Like here's the garden. This is the Venice Garden, or I can't remember what the name of the actual garden is. But I'm pretty sure there's a garden right in here somewhere, and I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Here's St. Mark's Square. Oh no, here you go, Royal Gardens of Venice. I couldn't buy that, and I couldn't get any of St. Mark's. All of this. And then we can go over here. There's a couple other spots. So I'm wondering maybe later on if they're going to auction these off here and there like they did the Eiffel Tower. Let me know what you think, and if they did, and you've seen these, what would be your favorite? Mine, I think I'd get St. Mark's, man. You know how many people go through this place? You could do some really cool stuff, but you know, it's a little out of my price range for digital land right now. You know, I'm not as baller as some, but eventually, man, I took some hits. I got in at the worst time, put a bunch in, didn't know what I was doing, lost, put some more in, lost, put some more in. Finally kind of figured out what I was doing, started making a little bit, and then worked my way around, but we're back in business now. Alright guys, cheers, like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you soon. We'll try to make some more videos as I can, but, you know, life comes first. Cheers.